Chip Conley was the CEO of a widely successful chain of boutique hotels. Each time he had executive meetings, he made sure at the end he allowed one person to talk for 1 minute about someone in the company who deserved recognition. Now, that person could be a manager or a maid. After that executive would finish appreciating the employee, a different executive at the meeting would either call, send an email, or visit the employee to tell him or her about the great job that he or she was doing. The recognized employee obviously felt great, but the other two executives who spoke appreciations felt even happier. Everyone would get a good mood boost, and everyone kept thinking about the next employee they would mention in the coming meeting. And then we keep wondering, why all this effort? Just to evoke happiness in the organization? Well, you must have heard so many people around you who follow a formula that has been taught to them intentionally or unintentionally. If you work hard, then you will be successful. And if you will be successful, then you will be happy. So now, how most of the people, including you, think, if only I get those many marks, I will be happy. If only I touch my sales target, I will be happy. If only I lose those many kgs, I will be happy. So in a way, our happiness has become conditional. You believe success first, happiness second. But the author of The Happiness Advantage, Mr. Shawn Achor, has something different to say to you. He says it has been scientifically proven by thousands of studies, work and research that happiness and optimism actually fuel performance and achievement. So in this video, you will learn how people are effectively using happiness advantage to become successful and how you can do that too. Now, this author had been both a student and a professor at Harvard University. He could easily see two kinds of students in his batches: the ones who took studying in Harvard as a privilege, and the others who would only focus on workload, stress, and competition and would always complain about it. And as a result, their grades and academic performance suffered. Many years ago, when people would talk about traditional psychology, its main focus was researching about the things that make people unhappy. But the author was more interested in finding out the answer to what makes people thrive and excel. Based on his years of research and countless number of studies, the author came up with 7 specific, actionable and proven principles that predict success and achievement. These 7 principles have helped thousands of Harvard students to overcome obstacles, reverse bad habits, become more efficient and productive, make the most of opportunities, conquer the toughest goals, and reach their fullest potential. And if you understand and apply them properly, they can do wonders in your life too. So the first principle is the happiness advantage. There is this age-old question we are still struggling to find answer for. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Similarly, we are here finding out, does happiness comes before success or success before happiness? Do you know some big software companies have foosball tables in their employee lounge? And the office of Yahoo has an in-house massage parlor. And Google engineers are encouraged to bring their dogs at work. Why else do you think these fortune companies spend so much of money on building these lavish offices and providing free meals to their employees? Data shows that happy people have higher levels of productivity. They produce higher sales. They score higher marks. They perform better in leadership positions, and they are less likely to get sick. In a medical school, the aspiring doctors are trained to make a diagnosis by reading the symptoms of a patient. Now, correct diagnosis not only requires knowledge, but also a lot of creativity. So during a study, such aspiring doctors were divided in a group of 3. One group was given a candy, which instantly made them happy. Second group was given some medicine-related statements, and the third group moved ahead with nothing. As it turned out, the happy doctors made the right diagnosis much faster and showed more creativity. So this shows so much more could be done if we provide better working conditions in the hospitals, in the schools and in the courtrooms. We could save more lives, we could educate children better and solve crores of pending cases faster just by using the happiness advantage. So how can you improve your mood and rise your levels of happiness? So everyone will have different ways to do that, but I'm going to suggest some of my favorites from the book which I have practiced in my life and I have benefited from them. First one has to be meditation. Meditate just for 5 minutes. See your breaths go in and out. It's a very powerful technique. Second would be find something to look forward to. One activity that I thoroughly enjoy is watching a movie. So whenever I remind myself that this week I'm going to watch this movie, it certainly makes me happy. So find something to look forward to. Third would be perform 5 acts of kindness. Research has shown that the people who plan and perform 5 acts of kindness over the course of a day have improved mental health and feel happy. So when the day is about to get over and you are reminding yourself of 5 brilliant acts of kindness you have done, it certainly makes you happy. My favorite act of kindness has been making someone happy, giving motivation to a soul who was feeling broken. That gives me a lot of satisfaction. And the last has to be exercise, taking care of your physical health. I'm sure you have heard that exercise releases endorphins, which are pleasure inducing chemicals. It boosts mood and makes you feel that you are ready to take over the world. The second principle we are going to know about is the fulcrum and the liver. Author says our brains operate according to the Archimedean formula. You all have seen a seesaw. Now if there are two boys each weighing 30 kg that are sitting on the either side with fulcrum in the middle, they will balance each other well. But if we take another pair of boys, one weighing 30 kgs and the other 40 kgs, then what do you think will happen? Of course, the seesaw will hang the lighter boy in the air until the heavier boy pushes off his feet. But what if we move the fulcrum? The closer we move the fulcrum towards the heavier boy, easier he is to lift. In this way, by changing the position of the fulcrum, we can change the seesaw into a powerful lever. Similarly, our power to maximize our potential is based on two important things. One is the length of the lever, how much potential, power and possibility we believe we have, and the position of the fulcrum, the mindset with which we generate the power to change. What this means, if you are a student trying to get better grades or a teacher trying to better inspire students, you don't have to try too hard. Our potential is not fixed and you can just move your fulcrum to a positive mindset and generate more potential to achieve whatever you want, no matter how big or heavy the goal is. The third principle is the Tetris effect. If you don't remember this Tetris game or being a Gen Z are not really aware of it, this clip may just help you understand. This very addictive game requires players to strategically rotate, move and drop a procession of these colorful blocks at increasing speeds. In a study at Harvard's medical school, researchers paid 27 people to play Tetris for multiple hours a day. 3 days in a row. Seems interesting, somebody paying you to play games for whole day long. So why was this happening? Playing hour after hour of Tetris changes the wiring of the brain. When we do new things and we do them repeatedly, new neural pathways are created in our brains. Hence, the players also started seeing the real life situations because of playing Tetris for long periods of time. Being a teacher, I have experienced this Tetris effect myself. While correcting notebooks, I kept looking for mistakes and caught them pretty quick. But when I was not conscious. I would start finding mistakes in my real life with things and the people as well. So it was only when I became aware I realized and I had to take preventive measures, to prevent my brain from doing this. This was a negative Tetris effect. So how can we get stuck in a positive Tetris effect? Number 1, make a list of 10 good things that happened in your day. The big things and the small things. This trains your brain to scan all the positive things that happened in the last 24 hours. The better you get at scanning the word for good things, the more good things you will see without even making an effort for that. How beautiful results it would bring if the teachers start the classes at the school with this one simple activity, which would take only 5 minutes but would change the trajectory of lives of the children. It has the power to do that. Coming to the fourth principle now, which is falling up. While many of us, thankfully, live lives free of serious trauma, we all experience adversity of one kind or the other at some point in our lives. Mistakes, obstacles, failure, disappointment, suffering. We have many words to describe the degrees of hardships that can befall us at any moment in our personal or professional lives. But with every setback comes some opportunity for growth that we can teach ourselves to see and take advantage of. As the quote goes, things do not necessarily happen for the best, but some people are able to make the best out of the things that happen. Making mistakes is a powerful way to accelerate learning and increase competitiveness. As author Tal Ben Shahar writes in his book, The Pursuit of Perfect, We can only learn to deal with failures by experiencing failures. The earlier we face difficulties and drawbacks, the better prepared we are to deal with obstacles on our path. You have probably heard the often told story of two shoe salesmen who were sent to Africa in the early 1900s to assess opportunities. They sent separate telegrams back to their boss. One wrote, "Situation hopeless, they don't wear shoes." The other wrote, "Glorious opportunities, they don't have any shoes yet." The point is, some people, when faced with adversity, sit helpless, while others gather wits, capitalize on their strength, and march ahead. And the fifth principle is the Zorro circle. According to legend, the masked hero named Zorro fought for those who could not fight for themselves. But what is more interesting about Zorro's story is his training. Zorro was trained by a sword master, Don Diego, who had drawn a small circle in the dust and asked Zorro to fight only inside the circle. Just like Zorro learned to keep control inside the circle, we can also achieve all our ambitious goals. All we need to do is believe that we have control over our future. There are two types of people in this world. One, the most successful ones who believe that their actions have direct effect on their outcomes, while the other kind who sees that their life is being dictated by the external outcome. So how to be like a Zorro and reclaim control? The first goal we need to conquer is self-awareness. Next step is to identify which aspects of situation we have control over and which we don't. Then choose that one small goal that can be quickly achieved. By narrowing the scope of action and focusing on energy and efforts, the likelihood of success increases. And the sixth principle is the 20-second rule. Would you be surprised if I tell you that cigarettes are not a great source of vitamin C? Or that watching hours of reality TV will not dramatically raise your IQ? Probably not. We all know we should wake up early in the morning, exercise well, eat healthier, and be kind to others. But knowing these does not make doing these things easier. Because knowledge is just a part of the battle. It's only when you know and then you act, you start winning the battle. Let's all accept the fact that positive habits, they are really hard to keep. Also, we know that how we make New Year's resolutions every single year, but 80% of us, we fail to keep them. Yeah, we can't even go beyond a week. So why is it so hard to change, and how can we make it easy? The author talks about how he managed to change his old undesirable habits to make some new ones. He has written that whenever he would come back from college after lectures, he would be very tired. He would collapse on the sofa, pick the remote and press the on button, and then would watch TV straight for 3 hours. To fix his habit, he removed the batteries of his TV remote and put them inside the drawer. He placed his guitar on a guitar stand right in front of him. He wanted to learn guitar but failed to keep up with the habit. And he kept his laptop right on the sofa on which he was writing his manuscript. So when he returned out of the habit, he pressed on button but then realized there are no batteries and he would have to walk up to the drawer and then put in batteries to make TV work. So he preferred to pick the guitar up, which was placed right in front of him and did not need any effort. And then next to him was his laptop on which he could comfortably write his script. He saved 3 hours of his time by just using 20 seconds of the day wisely. Gradually, this habit of watching television upon returning from the office disappeared. So whenever you want to start a new habit and get rid of the bad ones, make the bad ones hard for you to follow and the good ones easy to practice. And the last principle is social investment. Simply put, this principle states that when we encounter certain threat or unexpected challenge, only way to save ourselves is hold on tight to the people around us. Yet when the alarm goes off, we mostly try to go and do it all alone. Our need for social support isn't just in our heads. Psychologists reveal that when we make a positive social connection, the pleasure-inducing hormone oxytocin is released into our bloodstream, which reduces anxiety and increases concentration and focus. Our relationships, the good ones, they are the greatest predictor of our performance and happiness. So when caught in a fire, holding on to others is the best chance we have for successfully finding way out of the maze. In the conclusion, the author talks about the ripple effect. That simply means as we apply the 7 principles in our own lives, the changes spark an upward spiral of happiness and success and multiply the benefits not just for us but for the people around us as well. By trying to make ourselves happier, we have the potential to improve the lives of 1,000 people around us. It has been said that a single little butterfly flapping its wings can create a hurricane halfway around the world. This theory is called the butterfly effect, and it goes that the flap of a butterfly's wings may be one tiny motion, but it creates a small gust of wind and eventually picks up greater speed and power. In other words, a small change can cascade bigger changes. And each one of us is like that butterfly, and each tiny move towards a more positive mindset can send ripples of positivity through thousands of people around us. So let's quickly summarize the main principles we learned from this book. Number 1, the formula success first, happiness second is broken. So if you want to excel in life, you need to first learn the principles that will take your happiness levels higher, because optimism and happiness increase your productivity and fuel your performance. To increase your happiness, meditate for 5 minutes, perform 5 acts of kindness, and exercise. All of them are actionable. Number 2 would be when you try to achieve something, no matter how big the goal is, if you go towards it using positive mindset, you will certainly achieve it. Positive mindset simply means that you're bigger than your goals and you have everything to bring the change. Number 3 is use Tetris effect in a good way and make a list of 10 things that you feel grateful for after scanning your day. This will train your mind to look at positive things. Number 4, when faced with failure, look for the opportunity that can help you learn something from that failure. Number 5, learn from Zorro's circle. Become aware of things you have control over and things you can't control. Give it all to the things that you can do something about. Number 6, use 20 seconds rule to get rid of the undesirable habits and cultivate the new ones that will take you closer to your goals. Number 7, hold on to your relationships, especially when times are rough. They are your biggest assets. In the end, create the ripple effect so big that your happiness positively and powerfully impacts millions of people around you and brings smiles on their faces. Spread your light, it's really bright.